Huge, exciting, great news for a Sunday morning as this channel pushes the envelope another inch. Purple Power Caucuses. As all the deal points of the second stimulus are now off, as no agreement has been reached by Pelosi and Mnuchin, and all the makeup of what you see now from the House and Senate and the presidency could ultimately change in 10 days, so too will the deal points. And voices need to be heard, and those voices are yours. And so now, on the advent of a new negotiation set to transpire over the next couple days, the Purple Power Caucuses are formed: stimulus, FPUC, hazard pay, and more. This is exciting, great news. It's time to get the big money. It's time to get it right now, and it's time to have your voices heard on Mornings Ally Lite. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm so excited you're here, and I'm really excited with the jaw-dropping great news as we start a Sunday morning, as all deal points are really off the table. We're starting from scratch. They're starting from scratch. Anything that they said they have achieved is really not achieved. And so guess who's walking into the room and about to flip the table? No, not Teresa Greeneyes. Someone else. Who do you think is sort of pushing their way in and say, hey, get out of the way? No, not Sir Lloyd. It's us. It's us, because as everything is about to change, so too are the deal points, and so too is more stimulus. Oh, this is really exciting, great news. I'm so excited for you. Go to the Frontage channel, subscribe, because this is the community you want to be with. This is a community that's going to push the envelope. 300,000 subscribers in 5 months for a reason, because I'm here to get you money. I'm not here to, get you VIP tickets to the Coliseum. You can get those on your own. I can't even get those. Also, like this video. Liking this video has helped. Early Mornings Ally Lite is now ranking #1 this morning. Thank goodness. We've been really clamored by that algorithm that's putting, UFO videos first, and how to get San Francisco hairstyles first in the search results. No, we need to be first. Coming up in this video, I'm going to be going over the incredible great news as the fact that everything is off the table, that you are bringing in not only new deal points, but a new table. This is the call to action for this channel, as we now realize that with no deal formulated, we're going to start making our caucus louder and more heard. And in fact, we are more heard. We just haven't realized we are. Note to self, we are being heard, so make it very concerted and put the effort in. Also, in this video, I'll be going over why the deal points are so important from the Purple Power Caucus right now, because of what's going to happen in 11 days from now. Now, I'm really excited for you, and I'm really invigorated and positive. So let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you start your Sunday morning is that Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin don't have a deal. They don't have a law. They don't have much of anything. And in fact, all they have is just a lot of wrangling. But what we do, as the Purple Power have, is a lot of opinions, a lot of spirit, a lot of push. And ironically, we have a lot of agreement. It's not like we're disagreeing among ourselves. We're not a divided caucus, as they would say about the GOPs in the Senate. Oh no, we're very concerted and very organized. But what we need to do now is that we need to separate agendas into different groups. And so let me go over this right now. What Purple Power needs to start doing right today, right this morning, is that individuals that have certain issues that they want to have into the stimulus package, the second stimulus package, which will ultimately become the third stimulus package at this point, they need to choose their subject matter that you want to hit hard on social media with. If you're a person focused only on stimulus, very good. You are part of the stimulus caucus. If you are a person focused on FPUC because you are unemployed, you're not getting FPUC, LWA has run out, then you're part of the FPUC caucus. If you're a central worker, your daughter is a central worker. I know Dreamweaver Security always says in the comments her family member is waiting for that hazard pay. A lot of you are waiting for hazard pay. So you're part of the hazard pay caucus. And similarly, that's in my EIDL, of course. you know, I myself and all versions of myself would be shouting and screaming part of the EIDL grant and EIDL loan caucus. You're all owed that money. You still owe that money. So these caucuses need to be very aligned. And what you need to do is to be very familiar with people who are in your caucus. So if you're pushing for hazard pay, it's not just enough that we're all part of the Purple Power. It's also important that you're part of, that you see on social media who are part of your Purple Power caucus for hazard pay, who is part of your Purple Power caucus for FPUC, so that ultimately when they're sending out a message, you need to help them send out their message, retweet them, share them, like them, retweet with a comment. Also, when you're sending out a message, they need to help you. It's that type of working together, as opposed to the divisiveness of Washington, that is going to show people that, wow, these people really mean business. They're making themselves very heard and very loud. It's important because additionally, you will help define the terms of what you think is appropriate. Chat amongst yourselves, tweet amongst yourselves, send a DM to your friend in the caucus. Say, hey, what do you think is the appropriate amount for hazard pay? Do you think the employer is required to apply for hazard pay? How much do you think we need for stimulus checks? How much should we demand for stimulus check? Once you get a conservative collective voice, it's sort of like, when Nicki Minaj drops a new album, everyone's like, okay, yeah, I don't like track number one, but I do like track number two. When you get that collective voice out there, then ultimately the collective voice is very powerful. Then the next item of attack is focusing on who would be the people that would be passing your stimulus. What you need to understand as we sit here today is that these people we're talking about, this cast of characters of Days of Our Lives, the soap opera of, bold and beautiful, bold and ugly, or unattractive and over bloated. The canceled soap opera that no one wants to see that's being voted out. They are going. They're going. So certain people are going and certain people are arriving. And the people arriving to town some of them have never been in politics, some have never been to Washington. So they want to hear and be heard. And this is what, boy, you're going to be so excited. This is what I had big success on with this channel with EIDL loans. If you never were part of my EIDL family, let me explain to you what happened. We went through the whole process of trying to get things done, with SBA and SBA and SBA. And finally, we hit a wall. At one point, we couldn't get any further than what we were doing. We had incredible successes to that point, but we hadn't gotten the hardest cases over the finish line, the hardest cases. So what we did was we reached out to offices of the legislature, offices of senators, offices of House Representatives, says, hey, we need help. This is what we're going through. Please help us. They have staff members who are dedicated to those issues. What's important to understand is, you see where I'm focusing on, you see where I'm going, is that if you have 30 or 40 or 50 people in your hazard pay caucus, or 100 or 200 or 300 people in your hazard pay caucus, you get it together, you get it organized and say, okay, which is the senator? We're going to make it very clear that we want that senator to put hazard pay back in the bill, or we want that House representative to put it back in the bill. And you get very organized and say, hey, here we are. Here is the Purple Power caucus for hazard pay. We want to put back in the bill. It is a double prong attack, because social media has been one place, but social media is a place in which you sort of shout and speak loudly, and you hope that people hear you and react to you. Contacting people directly in bodies of government and saying, okay, we're part of the Purple Power Caucus. We're this hundred thousands of people overall, but our caucus for hazard pay is 150 people. And we want hazard pay back in the bill. Why was it taken out? We want our voices heard. We are people who worked in a grocery store who, my daughter risked her life to put food on the table for our families, and she worked in the grocery store. Why is hazard pay out? It needs to be back in. It's the same thing for stimulus checks. It's the same thing for stimulus checks. Stimulus checks is you first come to the agreement on the number of stimulus checks, the amount of the stimulus checks, the why the contention that $1,200 is not enough. You get a collective voice of it, and then as part of the Purple Power Caucus for stimulus checks, then you organize in a way and fashion that you see these are the people you are aligned on with social media. 100, 200, 300, 400 of you. And at that point, then you determine which senators and representatives you reach out to. Now, let me pause as we hear at the 10-minute mark of this video, because I have a lot more coming up. What's important for you to understand, because I know I can just sort of sense this in the back of your ear, is that some people may say, it shouldn't be that hard. Yes, it is that hard. It is that hard. And that ultimately, in this society in which we live, there are people that are competing for different things. There's airlines trying to take your money. There's restaurants trying to take your money. There's the bosses trying to take your money. There's the landlord that's trying to take your money. Everyone's trying to take money from different sources and trying to take it from Congress. And that ultimately, that is what has become this society. During the EIDL process, I had viewers calling up SBA every single day for 7 days a week, 1 hour a day to get to tier 2. It was it was what it was. And I told them what to tell tier 2. I told them if the representative didn't answer you correctly, you call back and speak to another person. Same thing with Congress. You don't get a congressman that's responsive, you call another congressman. And ultimately, it worked. It worked. I got to tell you, there was a Thursday to a Tuesday on this channel in which I did what I'm telling you we're going to do for Purple Power Caucus. I did for EIDL. I got, I think it was 25 loans approved through this path between a Tuesday and between a Thursday and a Tuesday. I did 4 videos on it, so I can pull back the videos and show you the videos on it. I think it amounted to about $250,000 because it was several loans. They were all about $50,000, $60,000 loans, all within just a few days. I had sometimes 3 or 4 loans an hour that I was getting approved because we literally pushed like no one has ever pushed a car. You know those shows on ESPN's alternative channels where there's like a guy pushing a big car, some imported Russia car from 30 years ago, and he put boron on top of the car. He put some lumber on top of the car. He's pushing the car. That's what we did. Everyone got approved. Everyone got approved. There was incredible success stories because the pushiness worked. Pushiness is very effective because people can't deal with people who are pushy. They really can't. There's a lot of wimps out there. There's a lot of people, and we've talked about wimps on this channel a great deal. There are the Democrats in the House who simply just let Nancy Pelosi do things. There are the GOP in the Senate that simply just rolls over and let Mitch do things. And then when they see that someone's pushy, they see that someone's animate, they see that someone's professional, smart, and educated, informed, they get really impressed. And the more impressed they get, the more success you have. So with that, Purple Power caucuses are starting to get aligned. They're getting aligned starting today. If you watch Afternoons LA Light, I went over why the messaging of this channel is more positive than ever. Because in times of need, you need to go up. You don't go down. In times of need, you get aligned, not maligned. In times of need, you go to the finish line, you don't go to bed. It's time to stand up. As you look at your stimulus check, how much stimulus check are you owed? How much hazard pay are you owed? How much FPUC are you owed? And when could you get it? The last question I can't answer for you, and neither can you. Fake will answer it based upon our efforts at the Purple Power. When you get the stimulus is uncertain. As to the amount of the stimulus, we can get to that right now. Stimulus checks. Your own multiple stimulus check. This is just not going to cut it. This $1,200 check, $1,000 check, not going to cut it. $500 check, not going to cut it. Anyone that's trying to do that for you, they need to be woken up in a professional, respectful manner. We're not going to say anything negative or insultory. Well, we'll talk about their hairstyle, but they need to be woken up because this is October. This is October. $1,200 is not, $1,200 is fine if we were talking about this in May. We're not. We're now in October. So stimulus checks up. They have the money. And when we're talking about more about the amount of money in a second, FPUC. It needs to be over $400 a week. It needs to be $300 a week. Doesn't cut it. $600 a week is probably too high, but it needs to be over $400 a week. But it needs to be retroactive to like July. It has to be retroactive to the date at which FPUC 1.0 expired. Google the date, you'll find it, and you'll find the date, and that will be what your caucus should be talking about. The FPUC caucus should say no. No, 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 no. Democrats and Republicans are now talking about retroactive to September, and given a few weeks, they'll be talking to retroactive to November. No, 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 no. And this is important. I know in my FPUC caucus should be and will be my wonderful, wonderful, caring viewers who did not get LWA, who got that horrible problem of the $100 threshold, so you never got LWA, and you need to be part of that caucus because you're going to be very loud and vocal and say, hey, why is it retroactive to September? I never qualified for LWA because of that provision, so I have never gotten enhanced unemployment benefits since July. Incredible, great news. Then hazard pay. My hazard pay viewers, you need to be very focused and very aligned that it cannot be determined by the employer whether you have hazard pay. It should not be applied to by the employer voluntarily. And perhaps you want the employee to apply for it. In fact, maybe you want the employee to apply for it by using pay stubs, not having the employer apply for it. In what program of the U.S. government does someone else apply for your money? I've never seen anything like that. And so every time I talk about hazard pay, I'm just like, did someone really write that? But the great news as we sit here today is that language is all out the window. Because all these people are going and coming. There's people being voted out, the new people coming in. And ultimately, time to change the language. Time to change the provisions. And that's what this channel has always been about. This channel has not been about just reading a news article and saying, here's 5 news articles from overnight. All of them are wrong, by the way. To prepare for this morning's video, I literally went over 6 different news articles published today. They're all incorrect. The truth of the matter as we sit here today is on Monday, after Judge Barrett is confirmed, the Senate will close. The House is already closed. Mitch and Nancy can call back the House and Senate for a vote at any time within 24 hours. The president can order them back in to vote. I've done that video. I've been doing that video since July. Order them back. President can order them back. They can come back. They can come back. That was the High Fox News video. Ultimately, what's important to understand is that there's nothing for them to come back on. This is not a time in which everything has been agreed upon. It's not been agreed upon. And what's important to understand is that everything is going to change on election night. There's no path to getting legislative approval for your stimulus before election night. There is for executive orders. So I want to stay on point. I want to stay on message, and I want to repeat old messages anew again right now. First, seats for stimulus. Vote them all out. Vote them all out. I've never changed my position. To the extent that I don't repeat something in every single video every day doesn't mean I change my position. It means I just didn't have time to repeat it. Today I'm repeating everything. Seats for stimulus. Vote them all out. Vote every incumbent out. I voted every incumbent out. Vote them all out. Vote them all out. And please vote. Do not vote. That's horrible. You must vote. Second, hashtag MSC. You're owed multiple stimulus checks. Third hashtag, I am valued. You are valued. You're worth more than a $500 stimulus check for 6 months of this pandemic. Fourth, Purple Power. And fifth, the big one, executive orders. Executive orders. He needs to do executive orders. We're, 9 days away from election night? It's time of the essence. Early voting in LA County today and yesterday, they launched something really wonderful. I mean, I gotta really commend them. They're having a new thing where you can vote anywhere in a polling place, anywhere in these certain parts of LA County. And it doesn't need to be a polling place. In LA, usually you would have to go to the community house of someone down the street or the school, and that's the only place you could vote. And if you're at the wrong location, then you're screwed. Now they've opened up entire football stadiums and basketball stadiums for you to vote, and concert halls like the Rose Bowl, like the bowl, the Hollywood Bowl, and you can go in and they have beautiful, beautiful polling places. You can go in there, vote wherever you're from, whether you're from downtown LA or East LA or West LA, you can go in there, vote because you were in the neighborhood, and it's all computerized and it's sanitized. It's just, I gotta really commend this effort. So let me get to the incredible comments from yesterday. I hope you're empowered and invigorated. If you've not subscribed, if you've not hit the alert, and if you've not liked this video, please do it right now. Joseph Sevilla, I believe this pandemic's brought out the best and worst of some people. Melissa, good morning, everyone. LA, praying the president makes the right decision to help the American people. Purple Power is here. Need to move. Lynn, we demand $4,000. Jim, Pelosi Minution, get it done. Mary, nothing is, get it done. And that people are hurting financially. Sherry, we need to get it done as well. If you have questions to today's video, which I'm sure you do, drop them in the comments below. Thank you for joining me early mornings, LA. That was a blockbuster. Wow. A lot of views, a lot of great comments, a lot of likes. I really appreciate it. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the organization up. I'm going to see you on Twitter. So go on the front of this channel, subscribe. Subscribe because you don't miss a video because there's going to be a lot of twists and turns over the next few days. Don't miss a video. Hit the alert button so you get an alert when a new video goes live. Also, like this video. I hope that all the YouTube processing times are good today. Sorry about all the delays yesterday. I know it may have caused some confusion, but I'm here, you're here. Then hopefully there's no more power outages as well. See you on 28 at 12 noon a.m. Pacific Standard Time. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay alive for more.